This is a second exemplar piece of work to show how to construct an essay for a Year 7 student. The first piece of written work, extended written work that Year 7s undertake with us, is on the Battle of Hastings. A series of lessons provide the context, the story of the Battle of Hastings, and know where it fits into the time and place in the story of British history. Prior to writing the essay, however, students are introduced to the skills, techniques and structure required to write an essay. And of course these essay skills are the ones that we will consequently build upon throughout Key Stage 3 into Key Stage 4 and hopefully onwards. So initially the students are taught to build an essay rather like they would a burger, with an introduction, the main part in the middle, the filling of the burger, and the conclusion at the end, sandwiching the filling between the introduction and the conclusion. The introduction is meant to contain 3 elements. It should require some context. Okay, this is all provided here. The story is summarized to place the battle in its correct period in history. So once you've got the context, we need to be looking for a plan. If this is an organized, plan and structured piece of work, which a historical essay should be, of course it's a discipline, it should all be planned before one writes. We should now be looking for the student to tell us what exactly is it that they are going to do. How are they going to structure their response? Now, as you can see here, we have plenty of context, but we don't have a plan, and we don't have an argument. Now, the student had this identified, and they've actually said, right, okay, I've gone back and I've rewritten it, I've taken on board the advice, I've got the context, but I need a plan and I need an argument. And that's provided at the end of the essay. Okay, so there was clearly work missing here, but the students reflected upon the advice that's been given. Now, moving on. Each paragraph is meant to be constructed around the model that we refer to as the PEA approach, the P approach. Now, in other subjects like geography and English, this may be referred to as the PEE approach, point, evidence, explanation. But in history, it's the analysis we're looking for. Now, ideally, a paragraph in itself should stand alone and answer the question. Simple as that. So without looking at the question or being unaware of what the question is, by reading one paragraph, by looking for the P, the point, the theme of the paragraph first, the evidence to support it, and how the evidence answers the question, one should be able to determine what the question is. Now, if you can't tell that from reading a paragraph, chances are the student hasn't provided the analysis. They haven't answered the question. So the PEA model is what we're looking for. We'll see if we can find it. Now, firstly, we've got a subheading here. Well, we don't do subheadings in essays. It should be apparent from the written text that we're provided. Firstly, comma should be there. There's our connective that you're taught in English. William won the Battle of Hastings because of his luck and tactics. So that's the theme, the point of the paragraph. That should be followed by the evidence. Well, what exactly are you referring to? The evidence for this is, and the student goes on to develop this. We then find out that he used these tactics well, and this helped him win. This helped him win the Battle of Hastings because. Here is your analysis. This clearly identifies and links back to the question. Moving on then, second paragraph. The theme will be weapons, provided and supported by evidence, followed by your analysis. This helped him because, and we have a developed sentence to explain how our point and our subsequent evidence can answer the question, why did he win the Battle of Hastings? Thirdly, resources. Again, scratch the subheading. We have no need for those. Okay, so we're talking about resources here. Looking for our evidence and how this helped him win. Here we go. Identified as the analysis. And look how much of a portion of the paragraph is taken up by the analysis. The analysis is the higher order thinking. The analysis is where you've done more than just remember the story. You use the story, you use the evidence to answer the question. very well developed, and the student here has identified this clearly as their best paragraph. Please look here, teacher. Please look here, assessor. Okay, I know I have provided the point, I have provided the evidence, and I have provided the analysis. Look at this first. See how good I am at history. Moving on to luck, following the same model. Point, evidence, analysis. We come to the conclusion. Now please remember the problems that we had with the introduction. What was missing? The plan and the argument. Okay? Now the student here has amended that on. Okay? Here is the argument that we now need to insert into the introduction. And down here, here is the plan. I will write about these things. Now this should have come first, that should have come second, as we amend the introduction. And also please note, students colour-coded for point, evidence and analysis. This has to be a conscious process. You have to know when you are doing it. The single reason why most people don't get the higher order scores, the higher levels, is because they don't do the analysis. At GCSE, exactly the same. The recall, remembering is done, but answering the question is missing. It is the analysis that is the higher order thinking. How is the evidence I have provided answering the question? It is answering the question and then the magic word in history, because. Everything that comes after the word because must be analysis.